So, and after that we can just go home, right? Okay, I am going to be talking about dressing for that job interview. So let's get started on that. You maybe aren't looking for a job. That's great, but with the current unemployment rate, you might be shortly. So here's a few things to just kind of rev up those skills. It's a reminder of how you can dress at an interview, all right? So the next thing you're going to tell me, though, is it's just clothes. What's the big deal? However, I'm going to stipulate that the question is it really just about the clothes? Dressing for an interview actually requires a little bit of forethought and preparation. Duh. Let's see what kind of forethought and preparation it actually takes, though. Because we're going to talk about the who, the why, the what, the when, the how, and guess what? It's going to be the where. 55% of another person's perception of you is based on how you look. 55% is based on how you look. All right, we don't have control over how tall, or how wide, or how narrow we are, but we do have some control over what we wear. However, you're going to still say, well, who cares about that? I mean, realistically, who cares? Right? Okay. Well, they're judging you, so you should care. Because after all, it's their perception about you that's going to matter in that interview. So why is it so important? Well, did you realize that the most important thing in communication is hearing what is not said? So we still have this 55% that has something to do with the perception, but there's still more. Because you know what? It's not just that, it's all that nonverbal. The nonverbal is not only what we wear, it's how we smell, how we use our eyes and face, our fingers, our hands, how we move. So all that is part of this interview piece. So you're going to say, well, what can I do about it? Right? I mean, realistically, what can you do about it? Well, you need to differentiate, because we come in two little packages, sort of. We have that social presence, and we have a professional presence. Now, the social presence is the person that you are kind of at home, with your family, laying on the couch, in your sweats, or other things. And, well, come on, when you're at home, you really aren't concerned about how you look. However, there's that professional presence, and that's that presence of when you are in the job. Now, granted, not every job is going to be exactly the same, but you still need to have something that you're presenting about yourself. So we have these two different ones. Sometimes they work together, meaning that you know you're about the same on either side, but not for everybody. So you're going to ask me, well, when do I prepare this difference? Well, it's going to be now. You know what? We have the time. So let's look at your closet. Does it look like that? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It'd be nice if it was full of good things. Maybe it looks this way. It actually looks nicer. You can find the good things. But there are actually people who have this. There's nothing. Because they're like, oh my gosh, I got to start from the beginning. Well, okay, let's think about how we're going to start from the beginning with that. How do you prepare? You need to know your audience, what kind of business you're looking into, the research their dressing, the clothing that fits their dress code, because you want to fit in. Knowing your audience, who are you applying to? If you are applying to a stripper club, hope none of you are, but if you are, you don't need to worry about being super dressed up. But if you're applying to a corporate office, you don't want to look like you're working in the stripper club, guys or girls. So you need to know who your audience is, what kind of business it is that you're going after, research their dress code. That's okay to call them and say, you know, I was just wondering what kind of dress code you have there. Choose clothing that fits that dress code, because you want to fit at least that level, if not better. Okay, so we're going to move on a little bit to what not to wear. And if any of you like TLC, you've watched it once or twice. But this is stuff that you don't want to wear to the interview. You can have it, but you don't want to wear it to the interview. We don't want to have anything exposed. Not any Dunlaps, over belts, over sides of pockets, or anything. We don't want to come in with the piercings and the tattoos and everything exposed. Those that belong in your social presence, but not necessarily in your professional presence. These are all things you need to be careful of when you go. They're definite no-nos. By the way, Crocs may be very popular. They might even be on their way out. Not to be worn to a job interview, unless you're going to work for Crocs. All right, so you're saying, so what should I wear? You've looked at the empty closet, trying to figure out what to do. All right, well, these guys look kind of professional, but you know what? Not everybody really is. Here's the biggest deal. Make sure that what you're wearing is clean. Make sure it's pressed, that it fits well. Make sure that your hair is not spiked and all purpley green. It should look nice. Little or no jewelry. That means when you walk, you shouldn't be hearing jingle, 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 jingle. No, not at all. It should be very tasteful, or not at all, and neatly trimmed nails, which means none of those long reds. Those were scary, and those weren't even the worst ones. But anyways, you want it to look nice and professional. The idea is do you look like you care about how you look? However, in all the research that I did, guess what? They still kind of really talked about if you're going to make an error in how you're going to dress, make sure that you err to the conservative. In case you don't know, in case you're not sure about what that is, it's like a classic suit. Usually in those dark colors that probably aren't very much your favorite, but you don't want to go in that lime green suit. You want to go in like a navy, dark gray, black. Make sure that your shirt or your blouse is coordinated with it. Make sure that you wear closed-toed shoes, preferably leather, and if they're scuffed, make sure you've kind of shined them up a little bit. It's important to do that. And I know that there are going to be some people who say, well, okay, so where are you going to find that? I don't have $1 million to go spend it. Well, I've got news for you. These little pants here, these are my Goodwill special. Original tag, $94, still hanging on it at the store. But guess what? I only paid $4.99. Okay, sounds silly, but I feel good. Jacket, Salvation Army. It was only $4. You can find something that's going to work. You don't have to spend $600 on it, but at least find something. Okay, it doesn't fit perfectly. You know what? A tailor's going to cost you still a little less than that brand spanking new one from Hugo Boss. So, what we want to remember is that everything, we're speaking without words because of what they see. That we need to make a good perception. I know it seems kind of weird, but that's based on that they perceive you. They're the ones making a decision. Make sure that you've differentiated and decided what's going to be your social and professional presence. Prepare and plan. Do it now. Don't wait. You want to have it done ahead of time so when that phone call comes and they say, can you come in for an interview at 2 o'clock this afternoon and it's 12, you can say, yes, I can. Instead of thinking, oh my gosh, I have nothing to wear. Do that research because you're kind of doing that ahead of time as to who you are applying to. And remember to wear that dress code. Don't go in under what they wear, at least what they wear, if not better. So remember, it's really all about forethought and preparation when you're dressing. It's not necessarily about the big spendy bucks. Thank you.